Professor Salem is not cannot chair this new next session. Bassant is here. Professor Bassant? No. Okay, I chair this session.
She's.
She is. Okay. I think I want to thank Claudio Azzolini for this coordination of this session. We move Professor Ariston Costin spoke about medical device. We move to the next session relating wearable devices and so useful for telemedicine. Ariston, I want to cooperate with you in particular on telerehabilitation. Telerehabilitation will be necessary and useful for after the emergence of the war, I think. We hope to finish this war, and maybe we need to use rehabilitation and telerehabilitation for the people involved, the injured in this emergency, in this war. We need help. We need to use this new tools for helping the people injured in this dramatic event of the war. Okay, if Bassant is here, you can speak and chair this session, and after you, please give the speech to Professor Clemente. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Professor Francesco. Good morning, professors. Yeah. Hello from Cairo. I hope I wish everything will be fine soon, and especially in Ukraine and all Europe. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm talking on behalf of my Professor Salem. He couldn't attend today. Thanks, Med Expo and professors, Professor Clemente and everyone. I would like to invite the next professor to start, please, in this session. Who's the speaker? Sorry,
I am.
Yeah, please.
Clemente is here, maybe.
Yeah, Professor Fabrizio Clemente, hello.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you the occasion to meet friends from Italy, from abroad, as Tony Cossin and Bassant too. And this is an occasion. And I speak just about this matter, the possibility in how I share my, okay. Did you see my presentation?
Yes.
It's okay? Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to present some, just to greet the friends in this occasion and to give my contribution in how we can concretize this collaboration. After COVID, this is a slide very, very well known. I use it in different conferences, that after COVID, the practice of medicine has changed very quickly, and especially using the technological support, telemedicine, information technologies facility, and so on. But our idea and what we are doing in Italy, and I hope it's possible to export this experience in a Mediterranean level in cooperation with other colleagues. We really already presented a project with Egyptian friends, Professor Bassant and Professor Aref, and but at European level, it's important too. We are working with Tony Cossin for the conference, and the aspect of telemedicine is treated during that conference that the next session will will be in Bucharest in November. Said, but what are the aspects to be faced? I put in the first line technology, but technology, we are mostly we are engineers, so we can say between us that technology is not the more important part of the introduction of innovation in medicine, but the management is important. How to consider the identification of the flow of the activity and of the data. And in Europe and in Italy, we have a big problem with the protection of data, but as well as the legal aspect and administrative aspect to treat telemedicine. Consider that in Italy, just the televisit is paid from the national health system, but teleconsultation, telerehabilitation are paid just in some specific project, not in the real clinical activity. And so another aspect for the implementation, real implementation of telemedicine project, including telerehabilitation, because telerehabilitation is a part, very important part, but is a special sector of telemedicine, because the large interaction between medical practitioners and patients required for rehabilitation. And so in design of the organization and the management of innovative project based on ICT is important. First of all, the immediate participation of clinicians, a deep analysis of organizational requirement that technologies, through technologies can be solved. And another important aspect, this is due to in charge of management, motivation and communication, and this is in charge of clinicians and technicians, discussion of the results, a kind of quality approach. We say that in design telemedicine service is important to have a quality approach, because we summarize this aspect in this flow chart and in the classical idea of a PDCA plan to implement any service in quality. So definition of technology aspect, organizational requirement, technical provision of operative procedures, start the process, and during this process, the continuous improvement through monitoring and optimization is very important. Monitoring is another aspect, a very important aspect in find quality indicator related to the process. Quality indicator can be the number of access, but related to the specific clinical activity too, the improvement in, for instance, of telerehabilitation. If the patients have, it can be measured, the improvement of the physical activity performed through telemedicine. These are some projects we performed. I go very quickly because we discuss in other conferences this aspect, but this is, I would like to put in evidence the design phase of this project. Define a swim line, including the stakeholders and activity devoted to each stakeholders. In this way, we can implement and realize a very performative service. Last but not least, in Europe, we have a problem with privacy, and we can design a project in safety by design and security by design aspect regarding the data of the patients. Design writing, for instance, informed consent to share data, and put in evidence where these data are stored, if they're stored into hospital or office, or if they are stored in outsourcing in some service. Where are located these services? In Europe or in other abroad? Because for the European country, it's not possible to store the clinical data outside from the European Union. So we have to check this aspect. We had to check this aspect too. And this is our experience in real implementation, and really we want to. I hope our experience is can be exported at the median level. This is because in Italy, and I'm sorry I switched to some Italian slides, we have to organize with the Next Generation Europe program, we have to reorganize our health system. In this way, we must have an operative provider managing the flow of patients and information between hospitals in a hub-spoke organization, the home of patients, and the long-term assistance and hospice too. So we have a different level of home care, and this is managed by information system is mandatory. So we have, I switch to this part that is more interesting. We must spend a lot of money. We must, by law, spend a lot of money that European community give to Italian government. So we are organizing innovation with technology and infrastructure and research, biomedical research too, and development of competencies, technical, professional, and digital and management experience. We have money, and we are trying to implement in different local health unit. Personally, I'm working 2 health units. I show you some results from one of them. This is the local health unit located in Liguria, that is divided in different districts, and we are the timeline of this project, as you see, is very quickly from June 21 to December 22, and we have to develop this system with an hospice, we say house of community in Italy, and hospital of community, and central operative, territorial central operative, and this must be implemented during the assistant in a hub-spoke line. Of course, there is to implement these services, there is an enlargement, an enforcement of infrastructure, of real infrastructure of the line to connect the different city located in the territory. And is a change from this old concept of telemedicine to new concept of telemedicine, and I prefer to speak about territorial medicine through technology. It's not more just telemedicine, but territorial medicine through technologies. And we really put all this organization with televisit and a platform devoted to the design of a national platform devoted to televisit. But what is, and I'm finishing here, what is important to design a workflow, for instance, this is for cardiology, that is access in charge on the territory of the patients, and the follow-up using different facilities, technological facilities. This is a workflow using televisit, teleconsultation between practitioner, clinical practitioner, telemonitoring, conciergerie, and we speak about the pharmaceutical telereconciliation, that is the analysis of the distribution on the territory using GIS, graphic information system, for the management of the patients. So that's all, and I hope this is the idea to share data and to, as I say here, to organize new activity and new experience in the Mediterranean and the European area. Thank you very much, and thank you to Francesco for the invitation.
Thank you, Professor Fabrizio Clemente. Very important presentation on implementation of different aspects for projects, and we hope we can join you for next collaboration with Professor Francesco and great team. Very, very rich presentation on implementation of telemedicine. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you. I'm sorry, I'm leaving because I have a lecture at university that is not located in my office, but it's located 40 kilometers from here. So I have to leave you, and thank you. And again, greetings, and happy to meet a lot of friends during these conferences.
Yeah, I wish you a wonderful day, and thank you very much. See you soon, Professor.
Thank you very much.
Any questions, professors? Okay. Thank you, Professor Fabrizio.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, next professor, please, Professor Alessandro, or Professor...
Next, because Botteghi will speak afternoon, Professor Marchesi. Marchesi is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Okay, Marchesi.
Can I share my paper?
Yes.
It's another emergency. I think you speak about COVID.
I will talk about COVID, right?
COVID, yeah.
COVID, but I want to share this very impressive paper about the use as a possible therapeutical device of a very, very simple device based on infrared. And that's it. I want to share this because I'm very passionate of the therapeutical application of light, and I want to thank you for the invitation. I want to share this very simple biomedical device based on infrared, but some paper now has shown very impressive results. And I want to, in a few minutes, I want to explain you this. This was a paper that was published on 3 years ago when the COVID started, the problem of COVID started. And this paper was related for attention, to put attention for the possibility of use something that has been almost forgot, about the therapy that we can use against the problem of health. The pandemic calls for rapid mobilization of every potential clinical tool, including phototherapy. Phototherapy has been almost forgotten, but was one of the most effective treatments used to reduce the impact of the last century Spanish influenza pandemic. And this paper cites several studies that show how the phototherapy has a very huge potential to reduce the impact of coronavirus disease. So after this paper, with many references to study where have been shown that red and near infrared light reduce respiratory disorders similar to those complicated associated with coronavirus infection, but also the patient with very simple red light devices has been shown to alleviate chronic obstructive lung disease and bronchial asthma. So these findings call for urgent effort for further explore the clinical value of light and do not wait for another pandemic to serve as a reminder. So this call was followed by some scientists that developed some research following this indication, because today it's very simple, it's very cheap to the possibility to produce a very simple device based on infrared with potential to reduce infection and also sanitize equipment, hospital facilities, emergency vehicles, homes, and many others. So I would like to talk to you about, because thinking about what's happening 1 century ago, no? You remember in 1918, there was the case of the pandemic of Spanish flu. And the Massachusetts State Health Department found that sunlight therapy, that has been forgotten, but at that time, sunlight therapy was the most valuable factor in reducing mortality, decreasing fatality of hospitalized patients from 40 to 13, boosting immunity among physicians and nurses. So the benefits of exposure to healing rays of the sun was so obvious, then it became a common form of treatment against tuberculosis, as well as wound infection and a host of other diseases. So this was just an invitation, or thinking also in different approach, therapeutical approach, based on a very big history we had about light therapy. And this is a very recent paper published on January of this year. This is a study done on hospitalized and severe ill COVID patient with a very simple, very cheap device. So this was a prospective, single-blind and randomized longitudinal trial with just only 30 patients, but this is very impressive, the result we get, because on this severe ill patient was applied this kind of device. I will show you, and I explain you also how it has been done, for just 7 days for 15 minutes a day. This device has been, I show you the goal of this study was to study the possibility and reduction of the acute pulmonary inflammation, and compare the photomodulation technique using near-infrared LED to conventional respiratory physiotherapy treatment in patients with COVID-19 in reversing acute condition, reducing hospitalization time, and decreasing the need of oxygen therapy. So they realized this very simple vest based on 300 near-infrared LED. These are very cheap, are the same LED that are most used in the remote control of for the television. You see, I checked on Amazon and I saw you can buy 100 of this LED for just €7. So this is very cheap device. 300 near-infrared LED at 940 nanometer, 20 milliwatt power each. So the total power is only 6 watts. That's nothing compared also to the power of infrared that can come from sunlight. Is about 24 less. Average power density is 2.9 milliwatt for square centimeter. And the size of this vest was 2,000 square centimeters. So I want just to tell you something about the infrared, because this is very powerful. The therapeutical effect of infrared is very powerful, because the near infrared has the one, if you consider the solar spectrum, the light, the kind of energy that are coming from the sun, we have about 7% that is in the ultraviolet range, about 39% that is visible light, but from 50 to 70%, depending on the time of the day, is energy that is not visible, is in the infrared. And specifically is in this area of infrared, that's near infrared, is the length wave is between 760 to 1,400 nanometer. So what is the very effective action of this kind of infrared? Is this kind of infrared can go deep in the tissue until 8 centimeters. So can go also through the skull, can go also through the bone. So this is very important, because we have about 80% of our cells can be involved in this process. So these are some of the results before and after just one 15 minutes treatment a day for 7 days. So there was 2 groups, one LED group and one control group. The control group was vesting the same device, but this was off. So because infrared, you cannot see infrared, so you cannot see the difference if it's on or if it's off. But I want to show you the results that are very impressive, because if you see just the lymphocytes, for example, in the LED group was 950 at the start and was 1,800 at the end, just after 1 week, just 15 minutes treatment with this device. If you see the control group, there is no change. So on lymphocytes, 890, 819 the same. So here you can see all the differences in the LED group compared to the control group, but the very impressive is the conclusion. This is the conclusion. After just 15 minutes day for a week of very low power near infrared treatment on severely ill COVID patients, what they get eliminated the need for intubation with mechanical ventilators, promoted the improvement in all the cardiopulmonary functions, minimized the respiratory symptoms, eliminated the need for corticosteroids, and this is very impressive, reduced the hospitalization by 4 days. So it seems something like a miracle, but there is a long history of therapeutical use of light. This is the last discoveries, what has been discovered about what's happening in the cell when the cell is reached by near infrared. Inside the cell, we have the mitochondria that are activated. So the most important effect are the most evident is the increase of the temperature. There is a little increase of temperature. This is promoting a vasodilatation, increases of blood and lymphatic microcirculation. There is a better oxygen transportation. There is an improvement in the energy because the mitochondria starting producing more ATP. So there is inside the mitochondria, there is an improvement in the strength, also in the strength of the body in general. And this is one of the most important discovery of the last years. We discovered that when the infrared can reach the mitochondria inside the cell starting producing melatonin inside the cell. So, and this is a very important for the antioxidant action. So we have also a boost of the immunitary system. There is a very powerful anti-inflammatory action long-lasting pain relief. There is the activation of aerobic metabolism. There is an acceleration in the wound healing processes, improvement in the metabolic and the hormonal activity, improvement in the brain function, improvement in the mood, improving fertility and the reproductive capacity. These are all effects of infrared that have been documented by paper, very beautiful, important paper. But the most surprising is, about the melatonin. We know melatonin, how it's important as antioxidant. It's also the precursor of glutathione. And we were thinking about melatonin only about the melatonin produced by the pineal gland and for the regulation of the circadian cycle. So we was knowing about melatonin produced by the pineal gland only in the night, and this is important for sleep. But what has been discovered recently is that melatonin is also produced inside the cell when they are reached by near infrared, and providing them a very important, very powerful antioxidant inside the cell. So it has now been shown that mitochondria produce melatonin in many cells in quantity which are orders of magnitude higher than they produced in the pineal gland. This subcellular melatonin does not necessarily fluctuate with the circadian clock or release into the circulation system, but instead has been proposed to be consumed locally in response to the free radical density within each cell, in particular in response to near infrared exposure. And that's it. Thank you so much. I don't know how long was my time, but I know I had 10 minutes.
Nice.
I try to go as fast as possible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Professor Marchesi. It's very interesting talk and very scientific. Please, any question, professors? Or we learn, for myself, I learn a lot. It's very interesting about COVID and scientific publication and architecture. And so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Marchesi. We, during the emergence of I speak very quickly about our experience during the pandemic emergency. We published on British Journal of Medicine, and a system collecting data from the medical device like this and other devices, oximeter, glucosimeter, developing a platform, a digital platform named TEMOCO, telemonitoring telemonitoring COVID-19, because in that moment, during the emergency, the problem was to avoid to recover the patient in the hospital, in the emergency unit with the pulmonary respiratory. The problem was to reduce the pressure to this sorry.
You know, this is a very simple device, but this is
this is a very simple device, like the other devices, in order to collect data in this platform and the monitoring and rehabilitation of the people with outside of the hospital. This is the problem is how this instrument, this device can be used not in hospital, but even in a rehabilitation center or at home.
Exactly. This is the reason of why I would like to share this information, because this is something very simple, very cheap. Everybody can have in his house, but what, of course, we have to think about, which is the goal. The goal is to let people be cured and to heal in their home, or I don't want to say nothing about the tachipirina and vigile attesa approach. You know, this is not this kind of approach. If the approach is we want to solve the problem, and there are very simple possibility with these devices, very cheap, but of course we have to think about something that I don't know traditional medicine, official medicine like, because against the sun are about 40 years that people are educated to think that the sunlight is bad, that the sunlight is dangerous, that the sunlight has a lot of problems. But now the evidence of the last years, there are hundreds of papers that have been showing how something so simple like infrared lights, you can produce infrared lights with very simple. We see this. I couldn't believe that it was possible to get such kind of result with a very cheap, a so cheap device, a very so simple device. But this is the result. Of course, if we want to help people in here at home, we have to think about device that must be cheap and easy to use, not too much complicated. And this is just an example of what is possible. But we have to consider the phototherapy that have been forgotten, something that can be really, really powerful, something that can be really, really useful.